Hello everyone and welcome to our next webinar as part of our series Aerospace and Defence. We will start the webinar just in 1 minute. We're just going to wait for everybody to join us. So please bear with us, but we will be starting shortly. Hello and welcome to everybody who has just joined us on this webinar. I'm delighted to have you all here with us today. This is our 5th webinar as part of our Aerospace and Defence series. We have another 3 webinars tomorrow and another one on Friday. So do check back on the website for the full schedule of exactly what's on and join us at any one of our webinars. Today's webinar will be recorded. It will be available on demand later on this afternoon for you to rewatch if you want. We will also have plenty of time for questions at the end of the webinar. So if you have any questions at all for the team at BAE Systems, please do put them in the chat. Okay, so I think we are ready to start the webinar. Thank you everybody for joining us today. Delighted to have you all here. And I'm going to start this webinar rather lovelily with a video from BAE Systems. So enjoy.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Every day, our employees work to deliver programs, big and small, to support our customers, from the depths of the ocean to the far reaches of space. Working with our partners, suppliers and trade unions, we protect those who protect us. Innovation is central to our business, and we continue to invest in advanced technologies, state-of-the-art facilities, and our employees across the world to keep our customers ahead of threats and find new ways to deliver equipment and services more quickly and efficiently. We're creating sustainable solutions, from electric power to synthetic environments, and supporting our communities, championing STEM education and recruiting thousands of apprentices, graduates and professionals, securing the long-term future of our company.
Welcome everybody. I'm delighted to welcome you to our Training and Talent Management Bridging the Skills Gap webinar. The purpose of today is to have a chat to explore the skills required to work at BAE Systems, career pathways, training, the world first projects, and what life is really like to work at BAE Systems. So quickly, just before we start, what do BAE Systems do? In simple terms, they provide some of the world's most advanced technology-led defence, aerospace and security solutions. There's over 90,000 colleagues working in more than 40 countries where they develop, engineer, manufacture and support products and systems to deliver military capability, they protect national security and people, and they keep critical information and infrastructure secure. So I would like to welcome some of the team from BAE Systems to join us on this webinar today. And I'm going to start by just asking Melissa if she'd like to introduce herself and give us a brief overview.
Absolutely, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. So my name's Melissa Thompson-Craig, and I'm the Head of Engineering for Strategic People Capability in the Submarines Business Unit, based in Barrow-in-Furness, just in Cumbria. So I've been with the business for the last 17 years, and I started as a safety engineer on the Astute programme, which is one of our engineering programs. And then after Institute, I worked on another program called Dreadnought, and I'm currently working on the newest submarine program called SSNA. My job is to develop engineering capabilities within the business, and I really look at how we develop STEM and bring people in from schools and colleges, and how we grow our engineers and give them a really positive and challenging career path for them to go on to.
Thank you. Adam, would you like to introduce yourself? Oh, Adam, I think you're on mute.
Trusted to be me, the first one. Afternoon, yeah. I'm Adam Lancaster. I'm the engineering discipline lead for systems engineering at BAE, based at Wharton, up in near Preston. I've been with the business 17, 18 years now. Started as a software engineer working on some of the training devices for Typhoon, Tornado, and F-35. I've also worked on the Dreadnought program, where I got my sort of wings as a systems engineer, and got the passion for systems engineering. And I've worked on some of the more secret classified stuff that the government wants us to invest new capabilities in. We've also looked at GCAP program. That's where I'm currently based, working with our international colleagues, trying to establish a systems engineering capability across 3 international partners and all of the small and medium enterprises that help build a bigger program. That's me. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Adam. Thanks, Melissa and Adam. Lovely to have you here. And I'm just going to get Richard to introduce himself if you can.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. So my name's Richard Leonard. I'm the mechanical engineering discipline lead for BAE Systems Maritime Services. I joined BAE Systems about 9 years ago as a senior mechanical engineer. I initially joined working on Type 45 power propulsion program, fixing the power propulsion issues that the destroyers had out of build. After that, I moved on to be the Deputy Class Lead Engineer for the Hunt class mine countermeasure vessels. After about 2 or 3 years in that, I've also held a role in our innovation team within Maritime Services, which was a research and technology post looking at kind of low technology readiness level technologies and how we can best utilize them in the business. And into the current role that I'm in now, where I'm responsible for approximately 260 odd engineers across mechanical engineers across maritime services, responsible for their learning and development and career progression while they're with us in the business unit.
Amazing, Richard. Thank you. And last but not least, Caroline, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Caroline. I'm not really sure where to start because everyone else's career sounds a lot cooler than mine does. But my name is Caroline Smith, so I work for our Maritime Services business. I'm the early careers and resourcing lead, so I oversee experienced hire recruitment, contingent recruitment, and early careers. And we're very busy at the moment with our graduate and apprentice recruitment. I've been with BAE for over 12 months, and prior to that, I supported BAE for several years in recruiting for their software and system critical skill roles across the enterprise.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Caroline. It's just lovely to have you all here in such a variety of roles as well. Thank you, all of you, for giving up your time. So I'm going to start by asking Melissa. You've experienced different industries. What brought you to defence and BAE Systems in particular, Melissa?
Well, to be honest, I grew up in Barrow-in-Furness, where the submarines business unit is, and ever since I was little, I've driven past the big buildings, the big sheds, and I always wondered what secret activities used to go on in there, and it always used to intrigue me. I did think throughout my early part of my career that the environment of BAE would be a little bit dirty, a little bit grimy, crawling around in the bottom of submarines if you wanted to be an engineer. But I could not have been so wrong. And actually, once I joined the company, I then realised how diverse a role engineering could be and all the different things I could do within engineering. This didn't involve really climbing around in the bottom of a submarine at all. And I've had so many opportunities and so much variation since I've been here, more than any other industry I've been in, actually.
Amazing, Melissa. What a lovely story from a little girl to today. Thank you. And Adam, I'm going to move on to you. You've been at BAE Systems for a number of years. You're obviously very happy and have made exceptional progress in what you do. What development opportunities are there to always improve and always keep yourselves ahead? I'd just love to ask you to give us that answer, Adam, please.
Yeah, I suppose I have been here quite a long time. It makes me feel a bit old now. I didn't realize I was getting that old. Yeah, the development opportunities are always around. There's always programs that are changing. The direction and the new technology evolves faster than what we can keep up with within BAE. So there's always that churn, and there's always the new technologies to go and look at. I'm quite lucky because in BAE Systems, I started as a software engineer working on some of the training devices for Eurofighter. I then managed to look and identify in my own career that I wanted to do some more on product type software, and the opportunity was there to go and write code that was flying now on the F-35, on the F-35 program. So I wrote some of the fuel software for that. And because systems engineering, sort of around the late 2010s, was coming one of the new skill areas, I managed to be able to retrain, I guess, within BAE Systems to support that Dreadnought program, which was ramping up the systems engineering. And from the business as a whole has recognised what a skill it is, and is now making it a core competency for everything we do within Air. And BAE is very supportive of doing that retraining and getting the people into the right places at the right time. And if you're enthusiastic and and want to and willing to put the hard hours in, there's always opportunity to progress.
That's great, Adam. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to actually just ask exactly the same question, if it's okay, to Richard, to give us his perspective on the opportunities.
Yeah, I think there's such a wide array of opportunities available at BAE Systems. It's such a big organisation, and I think you could quite happily spend your entire career with the company if you wanted to. Even in what I consider a short time with the company, 9 years, there's such a breadth of projects that are available to work on, from kind of cutting edge technology to more the traditional legacy projects that we have supporting the ships at sea. I think the exciting thing at the moment is that between myself and my colleagues, we're re-establishing the engineering function so that we can better serve the engineers that we have, and also break down the silos that the teams operate within. So not only is it easier for engineers to move between classes of ship that they work on, but now move across entire programs and potentially different sites as well, which gives a fantastic opportunity for people to work on products that they may not have joined the business to work on, but it's that their expertise aligns with something that they can really develop and give back to BAE Systems, which I think is a really great opportunity. We also have a good focus on professional registration. So we have a number of fellows throughout the company and mentors who can help provide guidance on that kind of on getting professionally registered and recognised within the company and within the wider engineering community. And all that kind of support encompassed together with the range of projects that we work on, it makes BAE a very attractive offering, I think, of a place to work.
Thanks, Richard. Thank you very much. I'd just like to say to everybody who's listening, if you have any questions at all for any of the team here, please do put them in the chat, and they will come through to us here, and we'll have time for Q&A at the end. Excuse me, please. So I'm just going to move now back to Melissa. And Melissa, in your role as head of engineering, what are the transferable skills and attributes required of a systems engineer at BAE?
Okay, so within engineering, there's certain attributes that we look for in systems engineers, and actually, you can come from any background with any experience to be a systems engineer. But what we really look for is somebody with a logical brain, somebody that's inquisitive, somebody with good communication skills, and is really good at fast-paced problem solving and really gets a buzz out of it. So we're looking for people that always want to find better ways of doing things and doing things more efficiently and effectively in a more organised manner, really. It would really help as well if individuals have that understanding or the basic understanding of an engineering life cycle. And systems engineering, it enhances all programs in all business units. It's a really key skill and a growing skill that we're looking for.
Thanks, Melissa. And Caroline, just from an HR perspective, what are the skills and attributes that you're looking for when you're hiring just generally across the whole of BAE Systems?
Yeah, so I'd say that our employees come from all walks of life and professional backgrounds. I think if you've got a passion for technology or managing complex projects, then we absolutely want to hear from you. We really welcome people with specialist knowledge and also those at the start of their career or STEM returners, those looking for a completely new challenge. We've got a vast array of opportunities. I think we've got over 1,000 vacancies live at the moment. So, we are very busy and we absolutely want people to make the most of their talents, whatever stage of their career.
Wow, thank you, Caroline. Over 1,000 positions at the moment. That's a lot of opportunity. Thank you. So I'm just going to ask this question now, and what I'd like to do with this question is just to go round everybody, I think, just to really get your sort of thoughts. And Richard, I'm going to start with you if that's all right. But what has been the most exciting experience or project highlight that you've been involved in at BAE Systems?
Well, yeah, there have been quite a lot. I've had to pick. I think I'll pick a few of them. So recently, I got to see the extra large autonomous underwater vehicle demonstrator at in Portland, being demonstrating our new underwater autonomous capability, which was a fantastic achievement for the business unit to a milestone to achieve. To actually go and see that has been really rewarding. Past setting up the function and establishing that and being able to give back to the engineers and provide those development opportunities, I'd say it'd probably be, I think it was my first year within joining the company. I'd set to work on fixing one of the power and propulsion issues that the Type 45s had out of build, which was doing some design changes to a seawater cooling system. And to test that, I actually got to deploy alongside the Navy for 5, 6 days, I think it was, testing the system whilst they were still conducting their operations out in the channel. And yeah, it was absolutely fantastic to see, to not only be running around the ship and kind of measuring flow rates on things that I'd been designing on the computer, but also to work alongside the people who we are doing this for. And it really brings home the fact that even though it's deployed for a short amount of time, it gives you a very small taster of what our armed forces go through, and it's a very humbling experience to be able to give back to that in our own personal way, really. So yeah, I'll say that's probably my highlight.
It's a good highlight, definitely, Richard. Good highlight to have. Thank you very much. And Melissa, if I could ask the same question of you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, apart from working on some very exciting and interesting programs, the role that I have right now is about developing and growing engineering skills. And that includes working at a school level as well to encourage school children to understand what engineering is. And one of my highlights is setting up something that we call the Road to Engineering, where annually we bring in about 300 school children, all aged about 9 or 10, to learn about engineering and what it's all about. and we do a curriculum with them where they get to experience lots of different parts of engineering, and the feedback that we get from them is really, really positive. They understand a lot more, and some of them even come to us and say, oh, we'll see you in 12 years, really enjoyed that, really know what it's all about. So I find that really rewarding. And also I lead the Gender Equity Network for submarines as well, because I'm really passionate about getting more females into engineering. And that's another really rewarding part of the job, really, is to encourage females, get them to be visible and mentor them and really help them and guide them through their careers.
Melissa, thank you. And I think that's so important, everything you're doing in those schools. As a mother of a 15-year-old son who wants to go into engineering, that is just music to my ears. So thank you. Really, really nice. And Adam, if I could just ask you for your thoughts on that, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Hopefully my most exciting thing hasn't happened just yet. Still a lot of career left in me and a lot of exciting programs coming. So, but I think in almost every one of my roles, there's something that's happened that is exciting that you can kind of hang your hat on. It's a bit cool. And to pick out a few in my career, there's early in my career I was working on the F-35 fuel software, and that's pretty cool knowing that once you've seen from design through to code into testing, and then you see it being deployed on a platform, and getting videos back from the testing over in Texas, where they've flown, that F-35 has flown with something you've written on it, is pretty cool. So that's kind of one major highlight, and another one of my major highlights is when we first started working on the Dreadnought program. I was part of the first ever inter-business joint team between BAE Systems Air and BAE Systems submarines to work on the active vehicle control and develop the systems engineering capability for both subs and Air. So those are probably two of the biggest highlights.
Amazing, thank you. You've all had such fantastic experiences. It's really, really lovely to hear. So I'm going to ask my next question now to you guys again. What would be your biggest tip, guidance, or work practice that you could offer that would enhance career progression? So thinking really about career progression, what's the things that you would suggest? And Melissa, if you don't mind, we're going to come to you first.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the biggest tips I can give is to be visible. BAE Systems is a very big organisation, and there's a lot of talented individuals within that organisation. I think plan your career out, but also, as well as that, make yourself visible, get noticed, and maybe do something that's stretch outside of the role that you already have for that visibility. Something slightly outside of your comfort zone as well. Make sure that you work your networks effectively. That would really help.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's very, very true, to be visible in your role and to really, just put yourself out there. Richard, could I ask you the same question, please?
Yeah, I think to build on Melissa's answer, it would be to diversify, I think. So, if you're going for internal job moves within BAE Systems and you've got two candidates who've been mechanical engineers for a set amount of time, it's what they'd be doing additional to those roles that would really set you apart from other engineers in the business. Not only that, but it makes your role more interesting if you're able to branch off into either a sub area of engineering that you haven't tried before, or something completely different. That we've had people within our discipline who've taken up roles within safety, HR, things like that before, and it really does enable you to add more strings to your bow. So I'd say diversification is a really good thing to be aware of, but also to have mentors around the business. I've had three really good mentors while I've been at this company. And the reason I've had three is because they've picked out different different things throughout my career that I wasn't even aware of. So, for example, after I'd been the deputy class lead engineer in a hunt class, one of my mentors pointed out that I hadn't been, that I'd had a kind of single customer in my entire working career, and I needed to kind of move into a more commercial, fast-paced domain. So that encouraged me to take up a role within an innovation team, which was a lot more fast-paced, and the amount that I learned from that I didn't think I would be able to learn before joining that job has been remarkable, and I've been able to take that forward into future roles that I've done. So whilst you should maybe have a plan on where your next steps should be in terms of your next roles, try not to necessarily plan too far into the future, because you might miss opportunities that come up and at short range that can really add to your engineering toolkit, really.
Really good advice, Richard. Thank you, and very, very true. Good to have a plan, but try not to be too rigid on sticking to it. Definitely. Thank you. And Adam, if I could ask the same of you.
Yeah, so I think the previous two people have kind of highlighted most of it, but there is something around that agility, being able to act fast, think on your feet, be flexible, and be willing to take those opportunities, whether they are short term or long term, that are just a little bit outside your comfort zone. That's where you start learning. That's where you get the visibility. That's where you get the rewards. So, and it's more around just doing something. If you spot that there's a task that needs doing, or there's something missing, then just have a go. Nobody's going to tell you off for having a go. That's kind of the way you really get noticed. Certainly in my career, anyway. And even if it is outside your comfort zone, just have a go at it.
Lovely, thank you. Some really, really lovely answers there. Thank you, all of you. I'm going to move now to Caroline, if you don't mind, just to talk to you a little bit more from sort of the recruitment process side. Can you tell us a bit more about the recruitment process at BAE Systems, sort of entry routes, what roles you're actively hiring for at the moment? That would be amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So we have different routes to market in terms of our industrial placements, summer interns, and we've got apprentice, our graduate roles, which is our Accelerate programme. And then we've got our kind of experienced hires, and then straight through to contingent. So all of our careers are advertised on our careers website. Everything that's live at the moment and continues to be live. We're in a very, very busy period at the moment. Last year we had over 7,000 hires alone, and this year we've definitely circling around the 5,000 hires by the end of the year, and then we've got early careers on top of that. I would say that our order intake shows that our demand for our products and services remains really high. We are well positioned for sustained growth in the coming years. We've had some really key significant contracts, such as AUKUS and the Global Combat Air Programme. We've hired 2,700 new graduate and apprentices in 2024 across all of our regions. And we've got over 1,000 vacancies live at the moment, which I previously mentioned, and that's 40 UK locations. So we're circa around 40,000 employees at the moment. Our roles are very vast. So you've got your engineering, which is your kind of typical systems, mechanical, electrical, and software. We've got project management, supply chain, IT, manufacturing, operations. We're very, very busy in the trade space. And then we've kind of got snippets of your HR, finance roles. So lots to really look at in terms of what's live. I guess in terms of what qualifications and routes of entry, I would say never be put off by, if they're asking for a particular skill set and you don't quite match that, because we are absolutely about transferable skills and hiring for potential and what someone can bring to the organisation. Obviously, within our apprentices and Accelerate, we have a set kind of educational requirement that we look for. But I think that is like a really open in terms of it's more about what you can bring to us, what we can offer you. And I think it's just that conversation in terms of finding the right home for you here, really.
Amazing. Thank you, Caroline. Lots and lots of opportunities, aren't there, available?
Definitely. What I will say is that we do welcome candidates from all backgrounds, particularly from sections of the community who are underrepresented within our industry. And if you would like to be considered for any of our roles, you can see in the screen in the left-hand corner, we've got our talent community. So you could join that by scanning the QR code. So this will appear on your screen, and the link has also been provided in the chat.
Amazing, thank you. Yes, for anybody who is interested, please do scan that QR code. We'll see if we can put that up towards the end of the webinar again, so that you can scan on it. Thank you. Thanks very much, Caroline, giving us that overview. I'm going to turn now to some questions from the audience. We've got some questions coming in. So for anybody who is in the audience and who does have a burning question for any of the team here, please do post your questions in the chat now so that we can go through them. Okay, so the first question I have here, I think, Caroline, if you don't mind, it's one for you to answer again. We just wanted to understand, are there any returner programs available?
Yes, so this year we have had the STEM Returners programme live in a couple of our business areas. We did pilot it a couple of years ago, I think early 2020, and it was very well received across the business and for the cohort alike. We have done that in maritime services, and it's worked incredibly well before. We're very, very keen to look at that across the enterprise again, and I suppose watch this space because we're absolutely in conversations with that for that to move forward. So I think keep an eye out on our website for next year. That definitely will be coming live very soon.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. And we've had a question in from somebody who's obviously thinking ahead, very, very wise, that I'd like to actually ask to Melissa, if that's okay. Melissa, what do you think are some of the skills that will be in higher demand in 10 years' time?
Yeah, well, we're always trying to look at what that might be, so we can start to actually develop those skills right now. We think, obviously, from a digital perspective, digital skills are really going to be at the forefront of what we're looking for. Digital engineering, cybersecurity, cyber resilience, AI, all of those type of skills are absolutely going to be essential for both designing and building the products that we make. So I would really be focusing on digital engineering skills personally.
Thanks, Melissa. Does anybody else have anything to add on that in terms of the skills that they think might be around in 10 years' time? Anyone else on the panel? No, I think, Melissa, you answered that succinctly. Thank you. Thank you so much. And we've had another question in, possibly Melissa, if you could answer this, or maybe Caroline from your perspective as well. Really starting to think about the interview process. Do you have any advice on the interview process?
Would you like me to go first?
Yeah, come on, Melissa.
Okay. I would really say be authentic. Be yourself, because if you try to be something else, it will be very visible to the interviewers. And please don't worry if you think that you've got gaps. It's really important that you highlight what your gaps are, because not everybody is going to be 100% fit right from the beginning for any role. We expect people to come in needing some skills to be bridged, so we can help support and develop those skills that you need to be a rounded engineer in our case. So I think authenticity is really key, and honesty.
Thank you, Melissa. Authenticity and honesty, I like that. And Caroline, what would you say, sort of from the cold front of the HR team?
I'd absolutely echo what Melissa's just said. I think any candidate that comes through our process, whether it be through early careers or through later on in their career, everyone is sent an interview pack, which does have the guidance of where your interview is, what to expect, what to prepare, links, and that's really, really useful. But I think remember that it's very much a conversation, and you could probably, be rest assured that whoever's interviewing is probably feeling as nervous as well. So I think just remember that it is a conversation and it's a real chance to bring your experience and what you're looking for to life.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you, both of you. Really, really lovely answers. I've just got another question here from the floor. If Adam, I think this might be one for your experience, if you don't mind. Is BAE Systems already integrating any AI-based technologies?
Yeah, look, just because of the nature of the things we do, almost everything we do is probably classified or is at secret level. So going into details probably around what AI is doing right now is inappropriate right now. But we are doing stuff with AI. It's across the whole life cycle of a project. It's not necessarily just in requirements or just in design. But yeah, it is a massive selling point and a massive skills shortage that we have right now. So it is very, it's very pertinent right now.
Thanks, Adam. That great. AI seems to be very high up there. Okay, so I have another question that's come in. It's quite a long question, so I'm going to answer. I think Richard, you've said that you could have a look at this question, which would be great. What advice would you give to someone with experience in a non-defense aerospace industry who's looking to join BAE Systems? Specifically, what skills or experiences should they focus on to stand out as a candidate? Very good question. Someone who's trying to get into this industry. Richard, are you okay to give us your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing I'd say is to just actually go ahead and apply. I wouldn't necessarily be put off about hitting too many of the specifics on the job advert unless it's particularly after a very specific skill set. I think what's more important in the people that we interview and who join the company is not only their technical ability, but also there's a great deal of weight that is put against the competency of the individual and how they align to our behavior models and our core values of how we expect our employees to conduct themselves in the workplace. Often specific technical ability in particular areas can be taught, but competency either can't be taught or takes a lot longer and a lot more effort to do that. So if you have those kind of core competencies of being able to be adaptable, collaborate with others, have more of a strategic vision and things like that, then those are the kind of competencies that we look for in the company, as well as the technical. But in ideal world, it's a mixture of the both, really. So skills that are learnt elsewhere from other industries and other companies are more than transferable to BAE Systems and what we do on a day-to-day basis.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thanks, Richard. That's really, really good to know, probably for someone who wants to get into this industry. I was going to ask Caroline, from your perspective, from a sort of an HR point of view, is there anything you'd like to add on to that question, to what Richard just said?
Yeah, I think we've got many employees that have come from a non-typical defence sector background, and we absolutely welcome that diversity, the different thinking. We totally embrace that, and I think sometimes the benefit from coming in from a different sector with those transferable skills is a different set of eyes, different way of thinking, and we absolutely welcome that challenge. What else can be done? How else can it be done? What do you think? So yeah, please don't be put off by the sector that you may work in if it's not currently aligning with what you think it should be, if you like.
Thanks, Caroline. Thank you. Really lovely answers from both of you there. I'm going to move to quite a big question now that I know, Melissa, you touched on earlier. But the question has come in. I'm hearing about engineering life cycles. Can you expand on this and on what that means? And if you don't mind, Adam, I'm going to go to you. It's quite a big question, but I would really love a sort of an understanding for everybody on the webinar about this engineering life cycles. Thank you.
Yeah, so I guess engineering life cycle for us is how do we take from a customer need or a customer statement of requirement all the way through to creation of a product, and then through into its in-service and disposal, and that's what we generally call the engineering life cycle, and that is different in different projects or in different business units. The way we apply the engineering life cycle, the way the methods and processes we use in that engineering life cycle may be different, but the phases of taking something from a requirement through to design, through to build, and then it's through life support and out in service is generally what we mean by an engineering life cycle.
Thank you. And Melissa, are you able to add anything to that from Adam?
That was really comprehensive from Adam, really. And yeah, just at every part of the life cycle, we have a number of gates that we need to go through. We need to be able to demonstrate what we're doing at that part of the life cycle before we can move on to the next. So there's a lot of governance, a lot of assurance, and yeah, I think he explained it very well.
Thank you. Top marks for you, Adam, for explaining it so well. Okay, I've got another question in here that I think probably is one for Caroline to answer, if that's okay, Caroline, just really relating to the application of a role. Is it correct that once an application is failed, we will not be able to apply for a BAE Systems role for another year?
The only caveat for that is for the graduate process, and as you can imagine, we're absolutely inundated, and what we would do is when we have a candidate apply for a project management role, let's say, they will be considered for all of those project management roles within the UK for that graduate accelerate scheme. For all of the roles, so for experienced hires, for example, no, that's not correct. You can apply and you will always be considered in the shortlist.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Caroline. I would actually like to ask another question I had come in earlier today as well. And probably, Caroline, if you don't mind, it's another question for you. What does BAE Systems look for in new recruits? If you could give a sort of summary of the sort of type of person you're looking for as a new recruit, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I think I don't think there's a blanket statement on that. I think it's just very much in terms of personality, what you can bring, what you're looking for, your potential, transferable skills, where you can develop. And I think I would just really encourage, don't be afraid to absolutely apply and have the conversation, if that helps.
Thank you. That's great. Thanks, Caroline. And I think just sort of following on from that, we have a question here around neurodivergency. So how are you at BAE catering for people who are neurodivergent, who may struggle in an interview environment, but could be really capable in a technical discipline? Caroline, I think that's probably one for you to answer, if that's okay.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. So when you do apply for BAE, whether it be for early careers, experienced hires or contingent, you will be asked in the process, are there any adjustments that you would like us to consider or put in place for you? And that answer will always be yes, we will look to accommodate requirements. If it's a case, so for an example, I think it's about answering this in the way that we don't have the answer for everyone, because everyone's adjustment is always different, as you can expect. But if, for example, someone said, could we have the interview questions in advance of the interview, then to help prepare for the interview, because they are neurodivergent, then we would absolutely look to accommodate that in the relevant timescales.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, Caroline. Really, really good to know for anyone that is neurodiverse that might be wanting to apply. Thank you. I'm conscious we have probably about 10 more minutes. If anybody has any questions, please do put them into the chat. And we're very happy for the team to answer those questions here. I just want to chat to the team. We have a question here regarding international students. Is that something that I'm happy to sort of ask this question? Just checking with the team here. We've got so many questions coming in. Sorry, just waiting to see. We're just waiting for that answer to come through. Okay, I think what we'll do, just while we're waiting for that answer to come through, if you have any more questions, please do put them into the chat. We've also put up there again the QR code, so that if you do want to apply for a job or are interested in the roles that they have available, just go to that QR code. We'll leave it on screen for a little bit now, just so that you can get that. And you can scan that, and then I think it takes you to a form that you can fill out that's just got lots of information on it for you to fill out, and then you will be contacted, I believe, by the team at BAE Systems. So I'm just going through some questions here, and we have a couple of other questions come in now. I'm just waiting to see if we're okay to answer these questions. We're just sort of sifting through them. Here we go. We've got another question come in. Thank you. Are there any opportunities to move between the sectors in BAE Systems? For example, from air to maritime services to submarines? Caroline, I think if you could take that, but I think it would also be good to hear from other people's perspectives as well. So Caroline, if you could take that, and then perhaps we could have experience from a couple of the other panelists too.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So the answer is yes. So we have our internal mobility team, and we have our total talent team in terms of talent mobility. But our internal roles are advertised in terms of moving across sector. So yes, there's absolutely the opportunity to do so. I think Adam, you've got more of a personal kind of experience on that, haven't you, in terms of your move?
Yeah. So I moved from into I was seconded into subs and then back out into so yeah, it is possible. It can be done by secondment. It can be done by taking an offload from maritime, but also there are more permanent moves that will completely move you out of air into maritime or into land, or we also have many international secondments as well. I've been seconded out to places like Saudi Arabia or some of our other partner sites as well. So yeah, it's definitely something that can happen, and it's not just UK based. It could be, internationally based as well, depending on the program.
Thanks, Adam. And Melissa and Richard, do you have any experience of that, of moving across between the roles, between the different parts of the business?
Well, personally, I've always worked in submarines. However, my wider team have come from other business units, particularly maritime and surface ships and air. And it's really valuable to be able to move between business units, because every time you move, you can actually take a lot of your experience, processes and policies from the business unit you've moved from into the new one, and actually really diversify that new business unit. So it's actually really valuable to enable people to move between business units, to share best practice and share key processes and key experiences.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Melissa. Okay, we're just waiting on a couple of other questions coming through. So if you have any other questions, excuse me, please do put them in the chat. That would be amazing. Thank you. And we've got the QR code up there again for you. I'd like to ask a question to all the panelists. And I know you've talked about your one highlight at BAE Systems. What are your thoughts on your future at BAE Systems? What are you really looking to sort of, is there another area you're looking to move into or another skill you're looking to develop? If we can just go around and ask all the panelists, that would be amazing. Richard, do you mind if we start with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, before I took up this role now, I hadn't taken anything like a functional role before. I'd always been a more kind of technical based. And there's a number of things I want to do with the function before I think about moving on from this role at the moment. So I've got things I want to achieve in terms of long-term outlook. I think I said it at the beginning that you could spend your whole career at BAE and be quite happy. I've no intention of leaving the company, but I do strongly believe that everything that you want to achieve engineering-wise can be achieved within the company, but also go back to the kind of the short and long-term goals within the company. I've always had a kind of an inkling as to where my next step would be, but kind of past a medium-term plan. I tend to just kind of see what's available really, and I know we just touched on it there, but moving between business units is easy, well, relatively easy with internal job boards, and when opportunities come up, I've spent my entire BA career in the maritime services business unit. There's nothing to stop if an opportunity comes up in air or naval ships or something like that, for me to go to things like that. So it provides that diversity of products that you work on and projects that you work on as well. So I suppose should the mood take me, it's good to know that those opportunities are there down the line.
Thanks, Richard. Good to know you're not going anywhere. Thank you. Melissa, would you like to answer that question?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the moment, I have children that are all school age, so I haven't any short-term plans to move into a different business unit. However, when the time is right, as we've mentioned previously, there are lots of opportunities. So I would really like to move to a different business unit again for that diversity of thought and to experience something different. And also, it's been widely advertised on the news programs that we're working on another project within submarines at the moment. And there may be opportunity for me to do more of a longer term secondment, either in the US or in Australia. And I'd welcome something like that as well before my path to retirement, at least.
Have to get all the children through school first, Melissa, before you go swanning off to Australia.
Absolutely.
Oh, that sounds an amazing opportunity, definitely. And Adam, any thoughts on your sort of career path at BAE Systems in the future?
Yeah, so I think we're just at the inception really of the global combat air program, which is going to be a massive international program with the Italians and the Japanese to create the new next gen fighter. So we're really at the inception of that right now. So I'm quite excited to see how far that goes and how quickly we can get that program set up. And I wouldn't mind the odd trip out to Japan to experience the culture. I think that would be quite interesting.
Thank you. I guess that's you probably touched on something there, Adam. There's probably a lot of travel opportunities, I would think, aren't there, working within BAE Systems?
Oh yeah. There's if you want it and you seek out travel, there's definitely a lot of travel opportunities. Myself, I've been to Qatar, Kuwait, Malaysia, Japan, Italy, France, Germany. There are a lot of opportunities if you want to take them.
Thanks. Thanks, Adam. You got a lot of stamps in your passport,
Oh
definitely.
yes.
Okay, we've got a couple of questions come in, quite specific ones. So, Caroline, if you don't mind, I'm just going to ask this one to you. It's from a student at the University of Glasgow. What are the requirements of process like for an international student, non-UK and non-EU, to be getting a UK working visa sponsorship? If you're
Okay,
happy to answer that, Caroline.
yeah, I think many of our roles are subject to security and export control restrictions, and that means that factors including nationality, previous nationalities, health, place of birth can limit those in terms of the roles that you can perform for the organisation. What I would say is if you see a role advertised and you have specific queries, then directly liaise with the recruiters. I think there isn't any specific answer on that as such. It very much depends on the role. So I would suggest speaking to the recruiter for the role that's being advertised and seek their advice on that particular role.
Great, thank you, Caroline. Really good advice. So any questions, go directly to the recruiter, and they can help you specifically on that. Okay, we've got another question here from Martin, who's a mechanical engineer for TfL. And he has asked, if you were starting your career in engineering again, what disciplines or roles would you choose to gain a balance of practical hands-on engineering experience and design skills? And I'm going to put that question, if you don't mind, to Richard, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if I was starting my career again, I'd still choose obviously mechanical engineering because it's the best discipline. There you go. But I think it would be I think it'd be a good idea to diversify as much as possible. So you know, gain that hands-on experience from you know, kind of shop floors and things like that. And you know, at those junior points in your career, it's okay to do that. You're not really able to do that more when you go up into upper senior management and things like that. So you can really get a grip of the issues of what our customers are facing on a day-to-day basis, especially when you've got platforms outside and things when you're working alongside hands-on. And although I'd say core mechanical engineering, there is a lot of value in diversifying what you do. So, you know, whether that's a stint in kind of project management or safety or things like that, there are lots of other disciplines that can add strings to your bow to enable you to become a more well-rounded engineer, which is vital for your later career, I think.
That's great, Richard. Thank you. Thank you so much. What an amazing array of answers you've all given. Some real insights. So much so that I think I might click on the QR code and apply for a job. It sounds amazing working at BAE Systems. Lots of opportunities. Some very happy people here who've worked here for a long time. So really lovely to see. And for our audience, I really hope today has given you some authentic insight in what it is meant to be part of sort of working at BAE Systems. You've got an understanding of the first world first projects you have the opportunity to contribute to. And while never forgetting, it's all about keeping the armed forces safe. And incredibly significant meaning to all the work that you do and the work that these guys here contribute to. So I would like to finish by saying a massive thank you to each and every one of you. Melissa, Caroline, Adam and Richard, thank you so much for giving up your time, for talking so passionately about what you do at BAE Systems. We've really enjoyed the chat today and hearing from you all. So thank you, a big thank you. To all of our attendees that have watched, I hope you've been inspired. I hope you've clicked on the QR code and we'll be looking at those roles within BAE Systems. And what I'm just going to do, and there is the QR code, as if by magic. Thank you so much. For anyone that hasn't quite managed it yet, scan that QR code and straight after the webinar, you can fill out the details. And I'm going to finish now. Just a big thank you to everyone. Thank you to our panelists. Thank you to our attendees. And I'm going to finish with a lovely closing video. So thank you so much for joining us today.